Welcome to K&D's Homestead. I'm Donna. Y'all, I feel so good. I just can't believe how good my knees and my legs feel. I'm just so happy to be back up and going and to feel normal again. And with that, for the last week, maybe week and a half now, I've been working on cleaning out my front garden and getting it ready for some things to be planted for the fall. I do have some things still out there that will go through the fall, but I have been working really hard and I've enjoyed the weather. It has been absolutely beautiful here in my zone. I'm in 8A in southeast North Carolina. We're in a cool down this week. We were so hot prior and even went into the triple digits a few times. A lot of humidity, but this week we're cooled down. We will get back up into some normal late summer temperatures starting maybe the end of this weekend or into next week, but we're in a cool down. And this morning when I went out to let the chickens out, I think we were 58 degrees, which is very cool for this area and uncommon, but it has felt good. We have been in the high 70s, low 80s during the daytime temperatures this week, and that has gave me so much energy to get outside and work on my garden. I've been working in the front garden. If you have followed any past videos, I have a front garden which is fairly large, and I have a back garden. And due to the health issues that I had this whole summer, they went unattended and bare minimal was done, and I basically just flopped, really. I couldn't get out there. But I feel so good, and I've been anxious and I've been gung-ho working in that garden, whipping it back into shape. Now what I have done is cleaned it out really. They're raised beds in that garden and some container items, and then I've got my small little garden pond that too is in a raised bed. And so I've been pulling weeds this week, mowing, weed eating around the boxes. And let me tell you, some of those weeds were astronomical in height. They were taller than I am standing on the ground. Boy, that was a chore. But even though it was a lot of hard work, I enjoyed every single bit of it. Some things in the garden I left, and a lot of things I pulled out. I found some plants that I didn't know were still alive. My bell pepper plants, they're yellow bells. I thought those were dead and gone. They were covered up so bad with weeds I couldn't get to them, and I just figured they had died. But when I pulled all the weeds, to my surprise, they were still alive. Not really thriving, but they were alive. So I left those in case they do a rebound. I pulled out chocolate cherry tomatoes, sun gold tomatoes, and a handful of celebrity tomatoes. They weren't doing good at all, and too far gone to try to rescue. I saved one celebrity, which is a bush hybrid. That's in really good shape and had some blossoms. So I left that. I saved 3 Beefmaster beefsteak tomatoes. Those are indeterminate heirloom tomatoes, and they're young. I had actually planted those very late, in the summer, and they have a little bit of height on them, but they have not started producing. But I did save those, left those in place. The chocolate cherry tomatoes, I pulled those out. I was so tired of all of those. They're good flavored tomatoes. They don't taste like chocolate. They just taste like a sweet tomato. Good flavors, and they grew so well. Too well, in fact. They produced so many tomatoes. I have more than enough. Can't find people to give them to. My chickens were tired of them. Every time I recently went out there to give them leftover tomatoes, they just looked at them and they're like, nah, we're good. They got tired of them too. So I just pulled those out and decided not worth my time and effort trying to take care of something that I really don't want. I'm tired of them. I pulled out some green bean plants because they were the wrong ones. When the season got started, I was very late in getting things set out, so I didn't want to use seed, and I bought some starts. They were supposed to be a pole green bean, which is what I like to grow. I don't like the bush green beans. The tag was mislabeled apparently because they grew to be bush tomatoes. It's okay, baby. It's okay. It's okay. Calm down. Those green beans turned out to be a bush plant. And they did not taste good when I cooked them. So I don't want to hang on to those because I know I'm not going to like them. I still have a lot of green beans canned from last year. I like the Blue Lake pole beans, and that's what I'm going back to. I've tried several varieties in the past, and I just always keep coming back to the Blue Lake pole beans. So I pulled those out, and here's what I did. It's very late in the season. If I was going to do this, ideally it would have been last month. I did stick some seeds in the ground, well, in my garden boxes, of the Blue Lake pole beans. Now, our first frost is approximately 73 days from now. The beans need 60. That is a very, very small window of error. We could have an early frost. We could have a late frost. And that has happened plenty of times. It's a risk, but I'm willing to take it because if I do nothing, it's definitely going to yield nothing. So I put 9 green bean seeds in the soil, and I'm not going to expect anything, but I'm going to be thrilled if something happens. There is enough time for the beans to sprout and grow. I don't know if there's enough time for them to mature and actually give me green beans, but I figured it was worth the chance. I have nothing to lose but 9 green bean seeds, and I have several thousand, so I figured that was worth the gamble. I did the same thing with some field peas because I love field peas, and I never got around to setting any seeds out. So same thing, 60 day for maturity. I may or may not get anything, but I have nothing to lose except a few seeds. So those are set out. I'm going to nurture them and see how far I can get with them. Maybe nothing, maybe something. If it doesn't cost me a lot of money and not too much effort, I'm willing to take that chance. I will be doing carrots really soon. A lot of times I will grow carrots both in the garden and in my greenhouse box. I don't know if I'm going to put any in the greenhouse this year or not, but I will be setting out carrot seeds really soon. I still have okra in my garden, and that's doing well, producing well. I still have a lot of holy basil out there, and it has reseeded itself. There's little holy basils all over the place. Like I said, the yellow bells are out there. I don't know how well they're going to do, but I left them. I'm going to nurture them and see if anything comes of them. I did get plenty of yellow bells that I've already put up in the freezer. Let's see, what else? Besides vegetables, I do have a lot of flowers scattered here and there. I've got some garden mums that are doing well out there. In my area, the mums are a perennial. They will come back year after year, and my mums are many years old, and they do come back. I have them in the front of the house as well. If you take the pot that you buy the mum in and immediately plant that, it will grow, it will die, and then it will usually come back in areas that have a very warm climate like we do. A lot of people will just buy mums and decorate for the fall, and then when they die they just throw those pots away, but that's not necessary in many cases. And in my case, that's what I did. I just planted them. They're all over the property, the front of the house, the front garden, and around the greenhouse. They're beautiful in the fall when they come back. You can also, for mums, you can pinch off and stick that in the soil in an area, a climate like what I have, and it will grow. It's very easy to grow mums also. So I have mums out there. I've got some zinnias scattered here and there. I have some purple basil at the front of the greenhouse. A lot of lilies. My Texas Star Hibiscus is doing well. I've got that in several locations. That's doing well out front there. My grapes are over and done with. I got a few, but the birds got many. I have some marigolds out there. I have a lot of vinca. The vinca is doing fabulous, beautiful. Next year I'm going to have more of it. I love that, the vinca. I've had vinca for years and years and years, but I've always had it in a flower bed here around the edge of the house. But last year I put vinca out in the garden, and it comes back as a perennial, and it's beautiful. And each year that it comes back bigger and bigger, as does the mums. What else do I have out there? My lavender, no. My rosemary is huge, and that's doing well. I will show that. It's blooming purple flowers. I have a camellia bush out there. The chocolate mint is coming back with a vengeance. I had pulled that out a while back from around my pond. That's coming back, as it always does, with a vengeance. Oh, I have cayenne peppers. They are doing very well out there in that front garden. I think I've got 3 small shrubs, and those are about 4 years old. I usually dig those up and overwinter those in my greenhouse. They're doing really well, and they're producing. I've already picked 2 small baskets of cayennes already. I'm looking out there to see what else. I'm sure I'm forgetting something. I don't have time to do a garden tour, but I am excited about the progress that has been happening out there and the cleanup. So I will take some pictures and show the pictures in this video. Now my plan is all these weeds that I've pulled out, I don't want those to come back. And normally I will cover my garden boxes with the spent hay from the goat house, but I don't have enough to take out of the goat house and cover the soil. And I don't have any regular hay either. I've done that before, but it will occasionally sprout. So my plan, I've got a lot of cardboard that I've been saving. My husband is a woodworker and a cabinet builder and installer, and he collects a lot of very large boxes. He cuts those down and makes them flat for me, and I've got several stacks of those. Now what I'm going to do, where I have plants, and then I have voids where I've pulled stuff out that I no longer want. And to keep the garden boxes from being consumed again with the weeds and the grasses that blow in there, in an effort to suppress any weed seeds or roots that I might have missed, I'm going to take those boxes and I'm going to lay them out in my garden boxes in all of the voided areas that doesn't have anything growing. Now, I know that some sprouts will pop up because I'm going to leave an area around the plants where I can make sure that I can get water down to the plants, and usually weeds and grasses will pop up from there, but that will be a minimal amount of weeding that I will have to do in an effort, in a hope that I can suppress some of that. I'm going to take all those boxes and put them in the garden boxes. I have some landscape staples. I may use those to push them down and to hold the boxes still. I may just lay bricks around on the boxes. And those boxes are going to stay there through the winter, doing their job, suppressing weeds, I hope. I won't have time today to get the cardboard down before this video is finished. I'm kind of, I'm running full speed from one area to another between keeping up with mowing and working the different areas on my property, so I can't spend any more time today on that. But I don't know, maybe this evening, maybe tomorrow, I'll get those flattened boxes out in my garden boxes. But that's my plan. There's a few things that I might still plant out there. I've got to think about how much time I've got left. I'm not sure there's a lot of time for anything except the cold weather stuff, and I will be doing some cold weather stuff. I'd like to put some collards out, and I would like to have some broccoli. Will I do it? I don't know. I don't have them right now. I'm really not sure about the cold weather crops like the brassicas. I'm not sure if I'm going to put those out right now or not. I do have time. However, to save time and so that I can focus my energy on my back garden and some other areas, I might just wait and start those seeds in the winter and put those out in late winter for the spring. In the greenhouse, I still have one celebrity tomato that is still producing. I have my oranges and I have my lemons. I've got lots of new lemons on the lemon tree, and I've got 4 oranges, I believe, that are good size. They just have not started ripening yet. Those are doing really well in the greenhouse. Those 2 produce all year long for me in the greenhouse. So whenever I get to pick some, new ones come right back on. I've got some hanging baskets in the greenhouse that are doing fine. I've got some oregano in the greenhouse that's doing great. I've got some potted plants that are doing great in the greenhouse. I did recently do a clean out and just kind of freshened everything up in there. My bougainvillea is doing well in there. I will show everything in the greenhouse when I do my full garden tour. I hope to do that this week or next week. But really my focus has been in cleaning up the gardens rather than a lot of planting and tending to plants, because I had fallen so far behind on my gardening due to health reasons over the summer. So I'm trying to just focus on getting them back into good shape. Now the soil is very, very healthy. I have amended my soil with homemade compost for, well, ever since we've been here, and we've been here 13 years. And each year I have amended the soil, and my boxes are pretty much full of the homemade soil / compost. What I will be doing very soon is amending for the fall and winter. I will add some bone meal, I will add some blood meal, and top everything off with some new compost. That I do every 6 months or so. I only do it about twice a year. It's unnecessary for me to do bone meal and blood meal any more often than that. First of all, it takes 4 to 6 months for it to break down. It has to break down before it actually works for you and starts feeding the plants. So I just do it twice a year, and I feel covered in that area. But my soil in all of my garden boxes is quite healthy, full of bloodworms, and a dark, rich soil. So I still have that to do, some small amendments. I'm hoping to just make sure that before we go into winter that my boxes and my gardens are clean and ready to go into a resting period, and they will be clean enough for me to start in the spring. I will show you all of the debris that I pulled out of my garden. That went to a burn pile, and I will be burning that next week, I suppose. We did a little burning last week and got the pile down to a minimal, but every time we do that, I fill it right back up. I won't be putting that stuff in my compost pile because it was just too many weed seeds. The grass that was in it was full of seeds, and the wild, scraggly little tree things that had landed and started growing, they also had seeds on them. I don't want that stuff in my compost, so it's going to the burn pile. So I will post the photos that I will take, and give you an idea of where the garden is headed right now. And I'm ready to go get back to work and finish this project so I can move on. If this is the first time that you have visited my channel and watched any videos, I want to say welcome. If you are a returning visitor or subscriber, I want to say thank you so much for coming to my channel. I appreciate it. And everybody, I hope you have a wonderful day, and I hope you're having good weather like we're having here. So nice, so crispy clean feeling out here because there's no humidity. So I'll see y'all on the next video. Bye-bye. Look at this mess. This is what I pulled out of my front garden. This is grass and weeds. Oh my gosh. This has been about a week and a half long process of every day. And I finally got it. Front garden, not the back garden. This is a mess of weeds. From inside the boxes, outside the boxes. There were trees growing in my garden boxes. That took some time getting up. I couldn't pull them out. I had to dig them out with the shovel. I'm so glad this is done. Here's the last trash can of weeds I've still got to dump. Oh, and I still have a wagon full. Okay. I didn't see that. I forgot. This wagon is weeds as well. That still has to be dumped. That has the old tomato plants in it. This is some of the cardboard I'm going to use. Now, I have the boxes cleaned out, but before I end this video, I won't have the boxes in the garden boxes, these flat boxes. I have maybe 3 or 4 of these piles of cardboard. So that's the last thing I still have to do, and I'm not going to get the cardboard in the boxes before the end of this video, so I'll just show what the garden boxes look like without the cardboard. And I think I'm just going to do pictures because this is run long and I don't have time for a full garden tour, but I will be doing a full garden tour here very soon. Here's some purple basil. Now last year I had one right here at the corner of the steps. This is the front of the greenhouse. And the one last year, it was just a single. These have multiplied. It has multiplied. And it was about 6 feet tall last year. The tallest one right now is about 4 feet. But it's probably because in the beginning I really didn't want them here and I kept cutting them down. But now I'm just letting them go. On the other side of the steps, I've got some that have come up. They're still green, hadn't turned purple, but they're getting that little purpley shade. But I decided to leave them because it does give some greenery right here in the front of the greenhouse. My Texas Star hibiscus is really putting on a beautiful show right here at the pond. These flowers are just so magnificent, so bright and beautiful. Here's my last tomato plant in the front garden. It's a celebrity bush tomato. It's doing well. I pruned it really well a few days ago when I cleaned out this bed. I don't have any tomatoes on it right now. I just took about 4 off of it the day I cleaned it out, but it's really healthy. Holy basil. And in the corner of this same bed is a pretty big size single plant flower. This is vinca, and these things are so pretty. Next year I'm going to plant these things all over the garden because they're so bright, so pretty. My beautiful rosemary, blooming really, really dainty purple flowers. This rosemary is, I've lost track, I don't know, 6, 7, 8 years old. I can't remember. I have to keep it cut back. It really gets too big. It's in my pond area. But other than cutting it back, I don't do anything to this. I don't feed it. I barely water it. I need to look up how old it is because now I've lost track. It's huge.